Hello everyone. This is Jana from the Endless Blue podcast. We explore the benefits of diving into the ocean and into yourself. Let's rethink how we deal with ourselves and our existence. Hello. Here's Jana from the Endless Blue podcast. Hope you're well. Today I wanted to talk about freediving, a way to discover who you are. Wow, that sounds like really woohoo, doesn't it? And I think for me, of course, freediving showed me that I'm a mermaid. That's pretty obvious, isn't it? With a camera in her hand. But also my dear friend Chris, she just quit her job after trying freediving for the first time. And since then, she just works in ocean-related projects as a designer. By the way, she's wonderful with her project, Oceano. And for me, freediving was the entrance to be able to listen to myself, to my inner self, to my soul, or whatever you want to call it. Nowadays, of course, I listen to myself every morning in my morning meditation. But freediving was the entrance to connect to myself. I remember years ago, in my 20s, my brother is a Buddhist, and he took me to, I don't know how long, like maybe a 10-day retreat, a meditation retreat. And I was there and we meditated, I think, 9 hours a day. It was like having breakfast, sitting 3 hours, having lunch, sitting 3 hours, having dinner, something like that. 9 hours a day, I remember. And, I simply just didn't get it. I was sitting there and I was trying to do what they told me, but I just couldn't. And even when I went home, I tried at home to continue it, but there was no way. I just didn't get the connection with myself. And it took me a lot of years until I started freediving. And freediving is a very pragmatic way to use meditation, because like every tension and every thought costs oxygen. So what you really do before you dive is you release every tension you have in the body, but also in the mind, because you don't want to waste the oxygen. So what you have to do is really to slow down physically and mentally. And you also have really to listen inside, because you're diving in the water, and the water has a hydrostatic pressure. So when you dive down, your air spaces are going to get compressed. So imagine at 10 meters already they're at half. So you really have to be also aware of, your equalization of the ears, okay? Because if not, you can just rupture an eardrum or something. And you have to relax if you dive deeper. Your lungs get compressed. They're like magic, they get compressed if you go down, and they're gonna unfold if you go up again. But you also have to really listen deep inside. It's like really freediving for me is getting from the mind into the body. And that brings such a beautiful connection with yourself. And for me, that's really a feeling of the deeper I go, the deeper feels the meditative state I got. And that grows with depth. I remember the first time I dove only, 25, 27 meters. I felt that deep, deep, deep feeling of meditative state, of being in the here and now. And that's actually how I connected with myself, and then with the breath, of course. I remember first time my father told me how to breathe, and I was laying down in the pool close to Lisbon, and she told me, you make the belly breathing. And then I did that belly breathing in the pool, and I hold my breath, and I got scared because I thought I'm gonna hold it forever. So I was like, oh my God, I just can still hold it and there's happening nothing. And so this was really for me the entrance, like really like having the water as a reflect of put your truth, like, oh wow, I'm getting relaxed, I'm getting in that here and now meditative state, and like that I can hold my breath longer, I can dive deeper. So for me it was a very pragmatical way of connecting with myself, of finding this. I called it the still point in my master thesis, about that still point. And I didn't know in that time that it will open such a big way for me. And now I just sit down every morning to connect with myself and the wonderful planet we're living on. And I start every day with that wonderful mantra, which is called Om Namo Gurudev Namo, where I just bow to the infinite wisdom of the universe and the infinite wisdom in myself. And it's just like so releasing because, it's just already there, all the wisdom in myself. And then there's something bigger, and I can call it God or the universe, or like when I went to the jungle, the indigenous people called it like el alma del bosque, the soul of the forest. But there's something bigger out there, and it just gives me that release that it's not all on my shoulders, you know? But it was really freediving which opened the way for me. And it's interesting because now it goes vice versa. Now I sit down and make my daily meditation. And now has passed since quite a time. And I didn't have any deep training. But I mean, I found it endless blue freediving, yes, last year in Sagres. And it was so interesting how my dives, and especially also my preparation, became so much more relaxed. How much longer I could hold my breath. And it's vice versa in the moment, and now it's going the other way around. So through the meditation, my awareness grows, my dives become calmer, more pleasant, deeper in an easy way. I can hold longer my breath. I'm watching out more like what's happening down there, Not diving deep in Sagres, but there was so much marine life, so much fish down there. So I'm just much more there in the present moment. And oh my God, I remember the one dive I made to the 30-meter where it's a shipwreck. So that's super offshore. And it's really like we had 2 days this year to be able to dive there to give you a view on how tricky it is to get some depth in Sagres. I mean, there could have been more, but okay. Like not many more, I have to say. We got 2 days because we had night at 3 doing. And yeah, and in the end, I just wanted to make one dive for myself. And I remember it just dived down. And I felt just so good, so in the here and now. And when I come down to the end of the rope, I open my eyes and it's just everything full of fish. And I was just there. And just there in such a deeper way than before. Just so, 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 so beautiful. And that awareness I take to everyday life, like in the wonderful forest I was today. Just to be there. And that's what meditation helps me to, to get out of that past, future thinking and just be here and now. Which especially is super useful for freediving, of course. And so, yeah, if you're struggling with tension in your dives, if you have the feeling you just can't relax when you breathe up, meditation is really a wonderful tool for deep diving. And also maybe to tell you the background why I got so stoked about it. So yeah, I started Kundalini yoga because of my mom. She brought me to an ashram in Portugal, really nice, 5 years ago. And since then I started with some practice here and there, especially when I was like in Germany, and couldn't dive or couldn't surf. And yeah, but then when I went back to the ocean, it was always like yoga and it was too much. So I was always focusing back on my ocean related sports. But then I met Sarah Campbell, and she's like the woman who dove for the first time unofficially. She had not the official record, but who cares? She dove, it was the first woman who dove the first time under 100 meters on one breath. And I made a coaching with her last year. And it was just the most amazing way of meditation teaching, because she actually, her whole training was meditation. And yeah, like that, she reached that tremendous number. And it's really about, and it really inspired me also in my teaching to get off pressure completely and really let the dives unfold from the inner self, and really looking for the base work, that everything is fine, if you want to dive deeper. And I mean, that's everything what you have in life. If you're stressed in work, you won't perform the perfect dive. Just have to look in every area of your life. And that's creating awareness with meditation, creating awareness about your equalization, creating awareness about the pressure on your chest, creating awareness about the tension in your pelvic floor. It's a wonderful tool to become more aware and also to become completely relaxed. Like we say, the perfect form of diving is to be completely relaxed but totally aware. And I always say I think it's the perfect way we should go to through life. I would love to do that every day. Yeah, I'm working on that though. Being completely relaxed and totally aware and in the here and now. And yeah, and in the beginning I said freediving is a way to discover who you are. And for me it was, because I just had to quiet my nosy mind and to listen to myself and to my inner voice, which is really soft and quiet, and it's getting really easily overheard. And freediving opened for me that path. I remember the first time I dove under 15 meters. I heard my own voice, which told me, "You are pretty cool." And since then, my freediving journey took on a real adventure. I mean, I never had imagined what would happen when I started freediving in 19. I became an underwater photographer, you know. Um, I let all my corporate jobs behind and film production. Okay, yes, sometimes I take photos of weddings, but mostly actually it's friends. Okay, I have this year one paid, but it's also like friends from the family. So it's not really like any, you know, job I'm looking for. It just comes sometimes, and yeah, love to capture love. But yeah, I became a freediving instructor. I taught freediving in Sesimbra, in the Bavarian Alp Lakes, in Greece, in Sagres, and now I'm taking off for a new chapter again. And because I permit myself to listen inside to that little voice, which is very wise and knows perfectly which is the next step on. And that's also why I take every moment, every day, a moment for myself to breathe and listen inside. And I can relate that to my training and freediving, what's on the schedule for today. And I mean, taking everything in count, what I have, and which day of my cycle I am today. Am I tired? Did I eat well? Did I rest the next days? Really getting into that neutral state of mind. There's also a really beautiful meditation about the neutral mind if you want to try. Just write me a message with neutral mind. I'm going to send it over to you. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this next year. And I have the feeling as much more I continue this journey, I'm getting like every time a little bit more myself. And so, yeah, having that said, I invite every one of you to join me freediving this year. Gonna have really cool retreats, one especially only for women. And then, of course, with Tomi, you're gonna make a really cool freediving adventure. It's gonna be really fun and a mix about adventure and deep diving. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to hear about you and hope to see you underwater. Bye.